Before the awards, the platinum records, the stadium shows, there was a boy. A boy who lived in a trailer park in Detroit. A boy who grew up in pain. Marshall Bruce Mathers III wasn't born with a silver spoon. He barely had a spoon at all. Raised by a troubled single mother, constantly moving, bullied in school and growing up around poverty, his childhood was a cycle of chaos and survival. But through all the noise and dysfunction, one thing gave him focus: words. Rap became his escape, his therapy, his rebellion. He was white in a black-dominated genre and constantly reminded that he didn't belong. But he didn't care. He studied rhyme schemes like they were science. He memorized Rakim, Nas, Tupac. He wasn't trying to fit in. He was trying to outdo everyone. By the time he hit his teens, Eminem was battling in underground clubs like The Shelter, honing a razor-sharp style that mixed speed, punchlines, and raw truth. Still, no record labels came knocking. He worked at a factory, washed dishes, and slept on floors, all while raising a daughter he'd do anything for. By 1997, after years of rejection, he created the Slim Shady EP. Dark, violent, unfiltered, but brilliant. It landed in the hands of Dr. Dre and everything changed. When Dre co-signed Eminem, the industry didn't know how to react. A white rapper with bleach blonde hair, disturbing lyrics, and no filter. It was dangerous. It was controversial. It was perfect. In 1999, the Slim Shady LP dropped and exploded. My Name Is turned him into an overnight superstar. But this wasn't just shock rap, it was surgical. He blended humor with horror, truth with fiction, and masked deep trauma with absurdity. Then came the Marshall Mathers LP, the fastest-selling rap album ever. Critics hated him. Parents hated him. Politicians hated him. But fans? They saw the pain. Behind the violence and sarcasm was a kid screaming to be heard. He dissed celebrities, he mocked the media. But when he talked about Kim, Haley, or his mother, it was no joke. His pain wasn't a gimmick, it was the fuel. At the height of fame, he created D12, launched Shady Records, and starred in 8 Mile, a fictionalized autobiography that earned him an Oscar for Lose Yourself. That moment? A kid from the trailer park winning an Oscar for telling his truth? It was historic. But success couldn't save him from himself. Fame brought money, but it also brought demons. Addiction crept in. Pills, painkillers, numbness. Eminem became a prisoner of his own mind. He vanished from the public eye. His best friend Proof was shot and killed. That broke him. His weight ballooned. His music declined. Fans thought he was done. And maybe he was, until he wasn't. In 2009, he returned, clean, sober, focused, with relapse. It was dark, theatrical, and although not his best, it marked survival. Then came recovery. He poured everything into that album. Not Afraid. Love the Way You Lie. They weren't just hits, they were lifelines. He addressed his addiction, apologized to his daughter, and let the world know he was still here. And he didn't stop. From the Marshall Mathers LP to Kamikaze and Music to Be Murdered By, Eminem evolved. Sharper, angrier, wiser, still controversial, still untouchable. But now, with clarity, he wasn't chasing trends. He was proving he could out-rap anyone, even at 50. He dissed, he joked, he reflected. The fire never left. By the 2020s, Eminem had nothing left to prove. 13 studio albums, 15 Grammy wins, more than 220 million records sold, a movie, a memoir, a movement. But the real success? He raised his daughter. He became the father he never had. He stayed clean. He survived. Even at 50, his verses still hit harder than rappers half his age. And when the world gets loud, he stays silent, lets his rhymes do the talking. He was the poor white kid with nothing. Now he's the reason millions found hope in a hopeless place. Not just a rapper, not just a legend, he is proof that even if you come from the darkest place, Eminem didn't just make music. He made pain sound like poetry and turned trauma into tracks that healed millions. In a world that judged too quickly, he spoke slowly, clearly, with no filter. He rapped what others were too afraid to say. From a broken home to broken dreams, to becoming the best-selling rapper of all time. It wasn't just talent, it was survival. His songs weren't just bangers, they were lifelines. For kids battling depression, addicts trying to quit, outcasts trying to fit in. And now, he doesn't scream into the mic like before. He doesn't need to, because he's already said everything that needed to be said. Eminem didn't just survive the fire, he became it. And in doing so, he lit a path for others to lose themselves so they could finally find who they are.